What is up guys, TopTierYugioh here, and today I want to show you a quick Shaddoll combo that allows you to summon Chaos Ruler the Chaotic Magical Dragon. And when this card is special summoned, you can excavate the top 5 cards from your deck to the graveyard, and then add a lighter dark monster to your hand. And this effect is really powerful in Shaddolls because it allows you to trigger your Shaddoll effects by excavating them, but also depending on the type of deck you're playing, it can also be an extender as well. And so if you're playing a invoked Shaddoll deck, and let's say you have Invocation in your hand, what you can do is excavate Alistair to the grave and then fuse with it from the grave with the invocation. Or if you're playing a Dogmatica Shaddoll deck, you can excavate and add an Ecclesia to your hand and then get into your Dogma engine like that. Or even if you're just playing pure Shaddolls, this combo is really good because you can still excavate and add some hand traps to your hand. And so you have cards like Valor, Lancia, Nibiru, Ghost Ogre, DD Crow, Phantasma, or even Ghost Reaper, and there might even be more, but there's some really cool cards that you can excavate and add to your hand that allow you to disrupt your opponent as well. And so this combo is very easy to do, and the awesome thing is that you don't have to play any extra bricks or any injury requirements. This can all be done with cards that are already going to be in every single Shaddoll deck. And so let's just go ahead and get into the combo. I think you guys are going to really like it. And so it's a 3-card combo. All you need is Squamata or Hedgehog, because you really need to get Hedgehog into the grave somehow. Then you need another attribute of Shaddoll, so we have Ariel and Windy. And then you need a card to fuse with. So it can be El Shaddoll Fusion, regular Shaddoll Fusion. If you're playing an invoked build, Invocation works, or even like a Polymerization or anything like that. Like anything works, you just have to be able to fuse your other attribute monster with your Hedgehog or way to get the Hedgehog. And so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so for the sake of the video, I'm going to show you guys with Squamata, Windy, and Shaddoll Fusion. This is probably the most likely scenario because these 3 cards are 3 ofs in every single Shaddoll deck. And so what you do with this is activate your Shaddoll Fusion. So you fuse with your Windy and your Squamata, and they're going to fuse into a Apkallone. So now you're going to trigger your Windy and your Squamata's effect. And with Squamata, you definitely want to dump Hedgehog to the graveyard. That's very, very important. So I guess you should actually make your Hedgehog, or I'm sorry, your Squamata Chainlink 1, and then Windy Chainlink 2. That way you can chain block the Squamata. That's the important card that's being activated here. So we're going to dump Hedgehog to the grave. And then with Windy, you can really just set anything you want in the field. Doesn't really matter. Let's go with a Beast. So we'll set Beast and face down defense. And then from here, we can activate Hedgehog's effect since it was sent to the grave. And we're going to add a copy of Shaddoll Falco to our hand. Now we can just normal summon the Falco, and now we have a level 2 tuner and a level 6 monster on board. And so we can go ahead and synchro summon for a copy of Chaos Ruler, the Chaotic Magical Dragon. And once again, you're going to excavate the top 5 cards from your deck to the grave and do whatever that gets you. But also, because Apkallone is sent to the grave, we can trigger Apkallone's effect. And so we can use Apkallone to add a Shaddoll card from deck to hand and then discard a card from our hand. And this can be really useful because of the different options that we have available to us, because we have cards like Schism, which we could add to our hand and then discard something else. And then if we look at the graveyard, we have pretty much everything set up. So we could summon a Winda on the opponent's turn. We have something of a different attribute, so we could summon another Apkallone on the opponent's turn, negate one of their cards. And so we have a few different options that we can do with Schism as well. But another option that we have is we could search Incarnation to our hand, and then we can discard it to the grave. With Apkallone's effect, when you resolve it, you add a card to your hand, you discard a card. And so then with Incarnation in the graveyard, we could use this to banish itself, banish another Shaddoll monster from the grave, and then flip whatever we set with the Windy. And so we could flip a Beast, draw 2, discard 1, or if we set something else with Windy's effect, we could use that as disruption on the opponent's turn. So if we were to set like a dragon, we'd get a bounce, or let's see, we could set Squamata, or we could even set like, these would be disruption, but we could also set like a Hedgehog if we wanted to search a spell or trap. There's a lot of really cool things that you could do with these effects. You could get Falco and use that, but I really like setting up the Incarnation play with some defense. So setting like a dragon or a Squamata with Windy means that on your opponent's turn, you could like pop one of their monsters or bounce a card. That's really good. And so depending on how you want to do that, you can actually chain block Apkallone and Chaos Ruler's effects because they both trigger at the same time. So you can make it like Chain Link 1 Apkallone, Chain Link 2 Chaos Ruler, and that's going to guarantee that you can activate and resolve your Apkallone. Or if, let's say, you really need to get something out of your deck, like you are playing a Dogmatica variant, and you really want to get to Ecclesia, you could also chain block it that way as well, and make Chaos Ruler Chain Link 1, Apkallone Chain Link 2, so your opponent can't negate your Chaos Ruler. So there's some ways that you can order your chain links to really ensure that the effect that you need goes off. But as you guys can see, there's so much that you can do with this combo, and all you need to do is have a fusion, a way to get to Hedgehog, and then some other Shaddoll with a different attribute. That's going to allow you to get to Chaos Ruler, and then Chaos Ruler can set up a bunch of things from there. But this could also be any other level 8 synchro. So this could have been like, I don't know, a Psy-Framelord Omega, or, I mean, that's really the only other level 8 synchro being played right now. But the fact that within the Shaddoll engine, you can just summon level 8 synchros is actually a pretty underutilized characteristic of the deck. I don't think people usually go for those plays, but it is a possibility. I think a lot of people, when they see that hand of like Fusion 2 Shaddolls, they think, okay, we can just summon Win the Pass. And yeah, you can do that. That's probably the safer play. But if you really want to go for it and get some more value out of that hand, I think this is an excellent option for most Shaddoll decks. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little combo. If you did, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Shaddoll content. I do plan on uploading a few more Shaddoll decks pretty soon. I know recently I did Shaddoll Invoke Dogmatica, but I think I'll make just like a budget Shaddoll Invoke deck pretty soon, just to see what that's going to look like and show you guys how you can play Shaddolls on a budget pretty much. And so thanks again for watching this video, you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, tips, tricks, suggestions, or anything else, let me know down in the comment section below. I appreciate all of you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, so never mind, video's not over. I was editing and just had a couple of final thoughts. And I just wanted to show you guys some other things that you can do with this combo from when you get to the point of Falco plus Apkallone on board. And so some other plays that you could make instead of summoning the Chaos Ruler, which once again, Chaos Ruler is just an absolutely incredible card, but there are other options that you can do with this combo. And so like I mentioned, I think earlier, you could also synchro summon for a Psy-Framelord Omega, still get Apkallone's effect, but then have Omega plus Apkallone. Omega can steal a card from your opponent's hand, or I shouldn't say steal, but rip a card from the opponent's hand, give you some efficiency as well once it hits the grave. That can be very good. And then the effect to return banished cards to the graveyard can actually be pretty useful when you use it with your Schism or your Incarnation. So that's a really neat interaction. But instead of going into Omega, you still have other options as well. You could go into a Crystron Halqifibrax and then do something else depending on how you've built your deck. But the fact that you can naturally go into Halqifibrax without like some ridiculous weird starter card is also pretty useful depending on how you've built your deck. Another option would be maybe a Borreload Savage Dragon. Again, depending on how you've built your deck, if you have any other tuners in the graveyard, so maybe you do this combo mid to late game where you set up the grave a bit, and maybe you have like a cross sheep in the grave, summoning the Savage Dragon could be something that seals the game for you. So that's an option. Or you could play Anaconda. You could go into that, which you maybe already play within your Shaddoll deck, and then you could use Anaconda to maybe fuse for something else. Or you could be playing a Red Eyes package, and this could be another way to get to that on top of, again, getting your Apkallone's effect. And so maybe you end up with like Anaconda, Dragoon, with Windy, maybe you set like a, I don't know, a Skomata, and on your opponent's turn, they have to deal with the Dragoon, and they have to deal with Incarnation in the grave, plus Skomata for destroying one of their monsters. So that could be very difficult for certain decks. Or maybe you search a Schism, then they have to deal with Dragoon plus summoning a Winda on their turn. So that's another option. And so there's so many really awesome things that you can do with this combo. It's not just for summoning Chaos Ruler, but it's just getting two monsters on board pretty much, getting a tuner, a level 2 tuner with a level 6 non-tuner. There's a lot you can do with that. And so you definitely want to keep your options open when playing both Shaddolls and with this combo, because there's so much that this deck can do. It's so underrated, and I hope you guys actually try this combo out and start incorporating it within your Shaddoll decks, because I very rarely see this play ever being made, but it's so good. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now I'm actually done this time, and so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.